Howdy peeps and welcome back to the channel. What is, well, let's be honest, a pretty grim April day. Cloudy, damp, chilly. So where better place to be than in the cave. So today what do we have for you? We have a review of the Meng BMR-3M mine clearer, breacher, whatever you want to call it. And it's the kit I won in the Models for Heroes auction on the 6th of April this year, 2018. Always good to support a great charity like that, and glad I got it so quickly. So what are we looking at here? Well, your general Meng tank kit, so lots of parts, bit of etch, and should be good fun. So let's take a look at what is in the box. He says, lifting the box lid out of the way. On the outside of the box it does give paint call outs, but me being me, even if I had those paints I would probably ignore them and go with what looks best to me. So first bag. Crinkly bags again. Do apologise for that. And we have the upper and lower hull, polycaps, the wheels, which we all know what they are, the jig for setting the suspension, let's say, and the hulls. Now this is a fairly venerable hull now. This is 2012 because it's the same hull that is on their T90 kit, and does bear more than a passing resemblance to the one in the Trumpeter T90. Lots of bottom surface detail which will all be covered up by the belly armour. Some nice side detail. Other than that, it's a lower hull, and it doesn't appear to be, there might be a slight twist in it, but never mind, I'll soon glue back together. Then the upper hull, pretty much devoid of detail. We've got a bit on the fenders and the rear deck, mainly because the majority of this is going to get covered with superstructure, and the fenders are covered in fuel tanks and God knows what, ERA and everything, so there's not a huge amount to look at, but we do, what detail we do have is nice, clean, crisp, all the usual things we look for. No hideous ejector pins, and yes, there are some on the underside of the fenders, but again, with the honking great side skirts that are on these, the only ones that might need a bit of looking at are the ones right at the back there, but I think there's even bar armour over the back, so they won't be visible either. Does the upper and lower hull fit is also a good question. Let's see. And yep, I've probably not got it lined up right, but it does look to fit fairly well. Job done. And next bag, let's see if we can get these. Oh, something I did forget to show. Got the clear jig which is used for setting the suspension. Hooks onto the side of the tank, and just so you have all the wheels at the same height. Very useful. Nothing worse than building a tank and then finding you got one wheel that doesn't touch the track. It's not so bad. Well, there are worse things, but for example, if you're building a truck and or a car and one of the wheels doesn't touch down, that's really annoying. So next sprue, or next bag, being sprue A. I'll grab a pokey device, a pointer, that'll do, paintbrush. What do we have? Well, we have the fronts of the fenders, some of the stowage, the exhaust, the log, the front entrenching tool, and the reason why there's not a lot of detail on the fenders because the fuel tanks and the stowage that go on the top, rear plate, lower front plate, rear deck grills, and a few other little fiddly bits like headlights, and it all looks as we'd expect from Meng. Clean, crisp, clear, fairly delicate detail. The log is pants, but they normally are. All we need to do with that is take a razor saw to it and just scrape it along to enhance and give more wood grain effect to it. That's easily enough done. And on the back there are some fairly chunky ejector stubs which you'll need removing, but it's just a snip and a quick sand. That's not too bad of a problem. Those ones in the deeper sections you're not even going to need to touch. You'll just be able to leave those as they are. And I've had a bit of a shift around in the cave, so I do actually have enough space in front of the camera to put sprues and stuff when I'm doing reviews. Yay! As I say, yes, Models for Heroes, great charity, support them if you can. Whether it be a donation to their PayPal, Airfix club points, kits, tools, anything, all goes down well. So next is Sprue. Chances of me getting these in order one day are fairly slim. So we have the belly pan armour, which just like covers up virtually the entirety of the lower hull. I'm guessing these parts are going to be superstructure, as that's going to be the top of the superstructure. I'm fairly familiar with the bottom half, and well, fairly familiar with T90s, but this is the difference, is the upper superstructure and hull on this. Driver's hatch, a few other little greebly bits, and again everything with the same crisp levels of detail. Nothing to complain about here at all. And am I on them? Okay, Matt's on the hull slightly. Thought something looked a bit strange. But yeah, again, all looks good. We'll check the back for ejector pins. Yeah, they're there, but there's no interior in this, so we're not worried about them. It's a different matter if you've got an interior in a tank, you know, or if they're in the visible area of a cockpit on a plane. Then yeah, they do need sorting, but a lot of the time ejector pins can just be ignored completely. And it's all down to personal preference. I mean, some like to fill and sand every single one out. I only do it if they are going to be properly visible. So Sprue D, and this looks like, I have no idea. Probably more of the superstructure parts of the mine roller assembly, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm not really sure what most of the stuff is. So got lots of little greebly parts. We've got the headlight surrounds, which as usual fiddly and delicate. Some fender stays and supports and bits like that. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I think it's mostly greebly bits, this sprue. And again, no problems with the EPMs on that one either. Nope. And yep, this was a 2017 release, so it's a fairly new kit. Well, that's the date moulded on the sprues anyway, so that's the way you'll be able to tell which parts are the T90 sprues and which are the BMR sprues. One will be dated 2012, the other will be dated 2017. So here we are again. This is going to be more parts for the mine plough, all the various linkages and working appendages and arms, etc. The blades for the actual try to remember the name for it, mine plough as opposed to roller, and just lots of little greebly parts. And yeah, Looking at that, it does remind me uncannily of the mine roller. Is it the Notre Dame or Notre Dame or however it's pronounced? That goes on the front of the Macava. And here we have the actual mine rollers themselves. Two identical sprues. So we'll pop one out, leave the other one in the bag. Pop that up there out the way. And again, all very nice, crisp, clean looking. Nothing much in the way of seam lines. What there aren't too bad. You know, there's some on the round parts, there always will be. But they're quick run over with a sander or a scrape with a knife and they'll disappear. Again, as I say, the mine roller wheels themselves look big, chunky and solid. I'm guessing those two go together, so you won't see any of those ejector pins. It might be different with those parts, we might have to sand those down a little, but hey ho. No such thing as the perfect kit. Although I have to say Trumpeter's T90s do come pretty close to it. They are great fun to build. Well, they are as long as you like lots of small parts. If you don't like lots of small parts, you'll hate them. And we have sprue little a, which is just some of the ERA blocks, ERA explosive reactive armour, in case you didn't know what it was. And yeah, there's not really a lot to say about that one. It's just a bunch of ERA. As you can probably guess, there's a lot of parts to this kit. I think it's around the 1300 part mark, but a lot of those are in the tracks, so yeah, I'll talk about those when I come to them, because I have actually built some of those now, so I can explain how they work if I can remember. Excuse me. Sprue K, which I believe is yet more parts of the mine roller assembly. The two main side beam parts of it, I'd guess, and some of the little mounts and the hydraulic pipes. And again, so looking at every sprue in here, it's typical Meng. Just means, you know, crisp, nicely detailed, goes together, not flashy, no massive seam lines to worry about. And we have two more identical sprues with a part that's fallen off of one of them. So can we get one out? Oh, come on. Come on, out you come, what are you catching on? Oh, no. Gonna have to sacrifice the bag just to get the bits out. There we go, that will come out now. Come on, how difficult. There we go. Now what's it caught up on? There we are, right. Apologies for that. Sometimes just getting bits out of a bag doesn't work. We have a little bit of flash on the sprue, but yeah, nothing to worry about. This is a 2012, so this is part of the actual original T90 kit. And this is armour plates, idlers, hooks, fuel barrel ends, fuel barrel mounts, and a spare track link. And again, I mean, let's say 2012, so it's not that old really, but the mould isn't not showing any real signs of getting worn or tired. Apart from there's a little flash inside these parts here, which you see we trimmed out with a knife. And it is easier to do it wireless on the sprue, so you've got something bigger to hold on to. And yeah, obviously I would do it properly if I was building it, but yeah. Again, all nicely detailed, crisp, clean, solid. Yeah. Oh great, I've got to that point now where the pile of sprues is going to start collapsing, so we'll stick that under the front and that'll hopefully hold them up. Well, at least for the duration of the review anyway. A small H. This is going to be more parts for the mine roller assembly with hydraulic rams and lots of other little bits that I've not really got a clue what they are until I come to build it. There's a little bit of flash on a couple of bits on this sprue, but again we're talking tiny flash, nothing the kind of thing that as you're sanding off the ejector sprue gates, just an extra few seconds and you'll get rid of it all. And here we have the rubber side skirts. I'm not actually sure if we'll be using these. I might just be using the mounting points rather than the entire rubber side skirts themselves. Originally I had to fit the rubber side skirts on the I think it was a T80, might have been, because I found that it was basically chucking the dust up off the wheels and tracks and chucking it straight up into the air intakes on the engine deck and grinding the engines to pieces. So stick some rubber skirts on there and stop it. Again, so these are all really nicely detailed, crisp, clean, all the usual good words. And you can see, I'll angle this one, you can see as it is rubber, they've actually moulded it not quite straight. It does have a wave to it. The actual, where it mounts, the actual attachment points are all in a straight line, but it's the bottom edges nicely waved so that it looks like it should do. And yes, we still have plenty more sprues to go through. This one, some of these I'm fairly certain we won't be using much of, as this is the Commander's cupola etc. for a T90, and as this doesn't have the T90's turret on it, I'm fairly certain it won't need the T90's command cupola, or hatch, or whatever you want to call it. Cupola, aqueous, meh. So we have an MG. Is the barrel slide moulded? Yeah, the barrel's hollowed, so it's passable. It's not awesome, but it'll do the job. And onto the rest of the sprue. As you see, again, mainly all fiddly little detail parts. We've got the ammo belt, the shell catch bag, as I was saying, the cupola, piping, springs. I'm guessing the bits off of here that we're going to be using will be for the MG mount. The rest of it will probably be spares. And I always need more spares for T90s. It's not like I've got not built any, you know. Next we have the barrels. Slight disappointment, having seen the separately moulded ends. I thought they were going to be a slide moulded barrel, but they're not. They're in halves, so we've got a nasty seam to deal with. But again, you can position that so one of the seams is probably not visible. The bottom one and the top one you're going to have to sort, or you could run the fuel pipe straight along the seam and you'd never see it anyway. But, you know, cheats ways of doing things. Again, other than the barrels, this is just the main fuel pipe attachment points, a few little bits of the suspension, the control linkages, and again, all really nicely moulded, clean, crisp, blah blah. Don't worry, we're getting towards the end of the beige plastic. I'm going to try and motor through the rest of this, keeps from becoming a monstrously long video. 3 sprues of wheels and torsion bars and return rollers. So wheels, yep, look like T90 wheels to me. I've got the ribbing moulded in on the external face, which you're going to sand most of it off when you get rid of the sprue gates. Return rollers, smoke dischargers, mud scrapers, torsion bars, because this does have workable torsion bar suspension in it. Not for playing with, but so you can pop it on a dio and actually have it sat naturally. Back end looking fine. If that's an attachment point, it's bunged up, but we'll soon be able to sort that, especially as the return rollers are completely invisible on this vehicle. And we have sprockets, rear mud scrapers, and probably the idler mounts, I'd have thought. So, yep, the sprockets looking sprockety. The sprue attachment points aren't in truly awful places. They're not in good places, but they're not in truly awful ones, being on the side of the teeth. Much better than when the sprue attachment point is sat right in there in between the teeth. That's a real pig to deal with. The brake discs, I assume they're brake discs. Might be something else, but they look like big ass brake discs to me. Rear mud scrapers, periscope cover, hatch. All as it should be. And that's a 2014 sprue, so something got an update. I might be out of the Terminator. And sprue D, we have 2 more sprues of the same ERA blocks. Yeah, they basically just stick on. There's nothing really to see in there. And the last bag of plastic. Ooh. I say last bag of plastic, I know we haven't seen the tracks yet, but press the knife down hard or sharp. Right, there we go. So we have the clear parts, which, oh yes, they're nicely protected, yes they are extremely clear and very nice, but it's a tank. And we have the kind of rubbery styrene sprue, which has got the fuel pipes and the mantlet, which we definitely don't need a mantlet on this one, so I'm thinking all we need is the fuel pipe, because this definitely hasn't got a gun on it. And 2 little sprue Fs, which are just greebly bits, and I'm guessing probably more parts for the mine plough. Next is onto the big heavy bag in the bottom, which contains all the parts for the tracks. Now these are the individual links with the separate guide horns. Do you want? Yeah, I'll get them out and show you. There you go. They look really fiddly, awkward, horrible, nasty things, but in reality they don't take much time to put together at all. So we have, let's Oh, we don't need them. Don't need. Oh, do we need the rest of that bag? Where? Yeah, no, we don't need that at all. We can get rid of that. Let's save it cluttering the desk. So this part is a jig. Simple enough. Which you pop your track links in there. Pop that on top and then use that to attach these, which are the track pins, or track pin holders as it were, go at the ends. I just built the trumpeter version of these, and with these being rubber they will go together a lot easier, and having a jig will be helpful as well. So we get many sprues of those. They're the soft rubbery type of stuff. Now here we have the track links themselves, the guide horns, the shoes, which, well, let's be honest, probably won't use. And I know it looks bad and people go, oh my god, with multi-link tracks or indie links. But it's literally a case of track link, clip the guide horn to that, clip the next track link to that, and make a run of like, I think it's 5 or 6, stick them in the jig, chop a section of 5, push it in, job done. It's that simple. It's really not that fiddly at all in the long run. I'm sure a rubber band is quicker, but you know, doesn't look anywhere good. Then we have the colour callouts. I think they're all going to be Russian Arms Expo ones. So we have a two-tone green with a little bit of black. Doesn't really float my boat. We have a two-tone tan with green. That's kind of cool. We have which is the Arms Expo 2011. Sorry, the first one was 29. And 2015 is the two-tone tan and black splinter cam. And that's it. We just have the 3 colour schemes, A, B and C. There may well be more differences than just the paint, but we shall see when we get around to building it. And we have a little... Oh, I forgot something. Some metal tow cable, which is steel, so not that great. Some chain, which is used on the mine roller. A template for the wheels, so when you're spraying that. And then a little bit of photo etch, some engine grills, I think is about it. So nothing spectacular in that. And instructions, all in various different languages about the thing. Tools required, blah blah blah, and it's a tank. We know how they go together. You start at the bottom and you gradually work your way up, pretty much. And it's Meng, so the instructions are crisp, they're clear, easy to read, easy to follow. There's nothing overly complex about them at all. And you see we've got showing you how to use the jigs to put the tracks together. And yeah, can't remember if I actually ended up doing the last set by hand or whether I used the jig. I think I got to the point where I was just doing them by hand. It was just as easy. But yeah, it's all going together much of a muchness. It's a T90 basically with a fighting compartment on the top. So it's the era blocks. And as you can see, it's already fairly busy. Yeah, that one's quite busy with arrows, but don't worry about that. You can see it's already looking quite busy on the sides, so certain things are tricky to see, but you've got the MG going together. Once these honking great side skirts go on, you basically can't see anything behind them. And the mine roller going together, which has got the chain on it. and a string, and then that all attaches onto the front with a drag line, and we get the sprue map at the back showing you all the bits and the paint call outs. AK Meng Accretion, I don't know, black, white, red, clear blue, olive green, sandy yellow, wood brown, Russian green, light sand, yeah, just general colours. There's nothing spectacular there. So a quick run through, well, as quick as I could manage, and it got quicker and quicker towards the end, of the kit I won in the Friday night live at the bench ISM Models for Heroes auction. I'm not entirely sure when I'll build it. I'll build it at some point. Might not go around to it too rapidly, but yeah, it's there, it's in the stash. If I fancy building a T90 that hasn't got a turret, job done. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, click like, subscribe, click the bell icon if you're not getting notifications that I've put a video up. So I think it was Bill said yesterday he didn't get a notification. Yeah, enjoy your modelling, have fun, peace out, rock on, and bye bye.